What's going on? What up? Stormie Calder here. In this video, I wonder what we're gonna do. I just wonder. If you're new or not new, what's going on? I'm your favorite spiritual mentor, spiritual coach, psychic, shaman, all the good things. Let me think about what I want to cover in this video. It's been a minute. You guys have been watching me do a life change, and yeah, so I think I'm gonna take you guys through, let's do an Akashic Records download. I think it's about time for me to be channeling within the records. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Akashic Records, I think, actually. If you haven't seen yet, I do have a free 11-part video training on the Akashic Records. I am known to post about them continually because they are how I started my psychic work. Well, not started, but how I developed it. All right, so what are the Akashic Records? I'm just going to take you guys through a quick understanding of that. Also, like, sorry, straight, curly, whatever. We're just gonna roll with it. I tried. Anyway. Okay, so the Akashic Records are, they call them the database of the soul, but here's the deal. In the space in between all things, so like you can see me on camera, there is like air in between me and the camera, and in between you and where you are watching from your phone or what have you. There is data and information that is transmitted through both sound and light wavelength frequencies that are in the invisible space in between all things and in all the things. So the Akashic Records are part of the unified field. They are part of the quantum field. They are the organized part of the quantum field. They are organized and kept into records of information. You can think about it like tons and tons of file folders. The Akashic Records can appear differently to many different people depending on how they see and perceive. However, what I noticed for the most part with the dozens of wonderful humans that I've trained to do Akashic Records work for themselves in personal development healing in the Akashic Records, they tend to show themselves as a very big adult library, a magical library. So that tends to be the vision. They always enjoy showing themselves as a library. When I go into the Akashic Records, I see it as a courthouse a lot of times because I'm doing a lot of karmic work on behalf of myself and my clients and people I know. So I'm continually advocating and working with karmic law and, the whole thing. So they can show themselves as healing rooms, almost like going to get a massage. There are a lot of things. Anyway, so the space in between all things is the unified field. The unified field carries data and information that when you are psychically attuned to the Akashic Records and learn how to work with the Akashic Records, you are developing your third eye ability to see, perceive, and intuit the data that is stored, recorded, and organized by spirit. Now, the Akashic Records are run by guardians. I like to think of them like Switzerland, okay? So there are Akashic Records guardians. They are full-term, not just healing, but guardian positions. They're the lords of the records. There are many different lords, teachers, masters, and loved ones within the Akashic Records. But when they do their terms, it's a multi-life term. So they're guardians of the Akashic Records, and they work to deliver information and keep it PC. Across many of their lifetimes as spirit guides. Most of them do not incarnate as humans, so they don't really come off very human. They come off like pretty alien in general, pretty stoic. For anyone that has worked within the Akashic Records, the guardians of the records are the most stoic guides you will ever encounter. They are not very warm. It's not to say that they're not warm and loving, but they're not. They are loving, but they're not warm. They're very stoic. They are they are sweet in their demeanor, but they are very fact friendly. And if it doesn't meet the truth or the facts, then they're not, they're not going to sugarcoat things for you, generally speaking. They meet the need with the need of the moment in the way that it needs to be met, in a very direct way, whether that is with your hearing and your psychic telepathy. For those of you that have it or that develop that, whether it's with your visioning ability or whether it's just a feeling in your body that they attune you to. Whenever you go into the Akashic Records and you do work, meditation, in your own Akashic Records, you're getting attunements to your energy field. It's like automatic energy healing. The better you get with that work. God, it's a good time. For any of you that want to learn your psychic skills, you can DIY it or you can learn it from someone like me. Obviously, if you DIY psychic, like, good luck. It's a project. You really need guidance. I'll say that for that much. But anyway, if you want to, the Akashic Records are phenomenal. If you're already attuned psychically to continually develop your gifts. If you already are kind of good at this work, you'll be able to develop them more working within the Akashic Records. If you need or want guidance on this, go sign up for my free training. The link is in the description below. And or also email me at hi@stormieculture.com. And I can get you the link for Akashic Records Immersion, which is my program where I teach you for 7 weeks how to read and intuit your own Akashic Records. Okay, so let me think real quick. I spoke about the guardians. We spoke about how they appear. The Akasha is the life force, or like the flow of life source, but with data throughout all time space. And depending on who you are, the lives you've lived, your expression and the expression of the formless substance through which all things are made, the Akasha will take on a different flavor or like a different expression. The Akashic Records are the records of the formless substance that is given form through intention, through thought, through desire, through feeling, like a feeling of an intention, through practical record of life events, through timelines that get developed through likelihood statistically of timelines that would likely end up in the future, which always can change. They record past life history across all time and space. They record lots and lots and lots of things. All right. So yes. What else do I want to say? Let's see if they want to chime in. Is there anything that we can say about the Akashic Records right now that would be helpful for my audience? There's a cathedral being built around my energy right now, they said. Don't mind if I do. There's a cathedral. They're building a mansion of a heart space for me to talk about this with you guys. I actually do have like a very large presence etherically on the planet. And part of that is, I believe, is part of this mansion that they're showing me. It's a cathedral. This is not the first time I've heard this. Let me just look at this for real quick. Okay, I'm not going to go into it too far, but there is like an entrance exam in general to get to work at high levels within the Akashic Records, and it's some sort of a cathedral that is built etherically for me and all of my students across like the 5D. So obviously you can learn from whoever you'd like how to do Akashic Records work, but if you are guided to me, it is for a reason, because I have specific codes and downloads and understandings that nobody else does. Okay, Guardians, what else would you guys like to share? Honestly, come on, like give me something fun, please, and thank you. They always give an enhancement to people that work through my lineage, if you will, through my spiritual guidance. The Akashic records are not only stoic, they have lots of rules and systems and guidance. I did call them Switzerland before, and I want to cover that. They're giving me a ping on it. The reason why I say the Akashic records are like Switzerland is because they don't choose sides. So if you're in the middle of a spiritual war, or like there are things going on, like the Akashic records don't choose sides. They just read facts. They do what they do. They are Switzerland. Like they just are very middle of the road, fact friendly. The benefit of that is that they're always middle of the road, fact friendly. Like, you know what you're going to receive from them. If you want someone like going at bat for you, that's not them, but likely you don't need that unless you're me. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know what I'm saying. You've been watching me for a couple of years. Like, I just, a lot of times I go through it spiritually and in many other ways. Okay, Akashic Records Guardians, are there anything else you want to say? Oh, 11:22 on my timer. That's Ascension 1122. Balance for master numbers. This is a master code as well, this video, even with me being like pretty candid with it. Oh, that's what they were saying. When you work with the Akashic Records through my entrance exam, like they're calling it an entrance exam. It's an energetic vetting that, you know, they always tell me that people fly without a license and it drives them crazy. And not just the Akashic Records, it drives God crazy. What's flying without a license? It's having psychic skills and abilities and not understanding the rules or the laws that govern them. It's not understanding spiritual law. So you're flying without a license or driving without a license. My guides always say flying without a license because psychic is like telepathic astral work. So you're flying with your energy as opposed to driving. But the thing about psychic activity is that there are guidelines you need to stay within to stay safe. And I want you to think about the Akashic Records and psychic activity in general as flying an airplane. Okay, so depending on your consciousness will depend on the aircraft that you are flying. I fly jets mentally. But anyone that's starting is going to be like flying a Cessna or a Piper. You got like a Cessna 152, you got like a little Piper, you know, like those aircrafts have, and I'm saying aircraft in terms of consciousness. The aircraft is like your consciousness. Those aircrafts have limitations. If you're flying a small, sporty little Piper, you're not going above probably 4,000 feet. Okay? Like in altitude while you're flying. If you're flying a jet, you're probably not flying cross country at 2,000 feet. That would be highly problematic, right? It's, you know, there are different capabilities based on different aircrafts. The aircraft is your consciousness. Depending on how conscious you are in what, why, your lineage, your not just your spiritual lineage, your soul lineage, but also your generational lineage, which also dictates a lot of whether or not you receive these gifts. Like, I come from a line of psychics. It's part of my generational line, generational lineage, blood lineage, as well as my soul lineage. So I have another inheritance like on top of that. Now, you don't have to be psychic to learn. I can teach you guys. Like, I can teach it. That's part of the benefit of working with me, is I'm very good at activating people's intuitive gifts. Because I have so much permission with spirit, because I understand the rules, the laws, and the regulations. So effectively, when you work with me in any way, you're getting a license, okay? So like, think about it like this. If you're in the US, you get in an airplane, you're flying without a private pilot's license, like, you think you're gonna get flagged by the towers and by the radar? Like, yeah, they're gonna be like, who the F is that plane? Who is the pilot in that plane? Do they have they don't have a license? Like, they'll shoot you down. Like, there's like a whole protocol. They won't, well, I don't know if they'll shoot you down for a license, but they do shit like that. Okay, it becomes dangerous. So, I mean, if you guys want to know with psychic activity, if you're running without a license, like you got high-level magician status and you don't know how to use it in this life, and you hacked your way into it or stole your way into it or just like stumbled into it, and you don't know what you're doing, Spirit can shoot you down, meaning Spirit will knock down your consciousness to prevent you from having access to certain aspects of those gifts, or will deliver you just endless amounts of shitty karma as packages at your door that you have to clean up 24/7 because you don't know how to use your gifts. Spirit really does not like, and the same with the Akashic records, they do not like when humans fly without a license, when they use all their spiritual gifts without including Spirit within that. They know that it's not normal custom for humans, but it's still like, it needs to be, it has to be. And until there are more people like me talking about it, like it's just going to be a shit show. But you need a license for this sort of work. If you're telepathic, you need a license. You need to be working with higher guardians in order to like actually learn the rules and regs of it, because there are high level dangers depending on your consciousness, depending on, and the conscious being your aircraft, depending on where you're flying, the different zones on the planet, the zones externally outside of the planet, who you are flying with is a huge deal as well, because you can get into a lot of trouble etherically. So much if you don't know what you're doing. And then there are also like the radar, there's radar that tracks all of us through the quantum while we're doing our astral work. You do need protection. If you're going into the quantum, you want, like the Akashic records is protection. You want something to be able to protect your consciousness so you don't get erased, sideswiped. This shit happens. It happens to people all the time. I'm gonna be honest, not people that work with me, because of the way that I teach, but it does happen to people a lot, and most people don't even know. They get their psychic mind erased, or their higher soul data will be erased because they did something dumb or went into the wrong territory. And the reason why I know these things is because I have a lot of experience, not from doing dumb things, but I'm highly conscious and highly aware. And for better or not, I have learned a lot of the dynamics of the rules of flying, if you will. From experiencing it. So there's also, so there's like the radar and the transponder on everyone's individual energy, which is monitored not just by the light side, but also the dark side. So it's something to keep in mind. If you're doing lots of astral travel work, you have to have lots of protection, because the dark side can monitor you as well. And they can plan shots and moves ahead as well, based on your flight patterns, if you will. There's flying behind enemy territory. There's flying for travel and vacation, right? There's like flying because you're a student and you're getting your license. That's Akashic records work for the most part. Most people land in that territory. They're like given a student pilot license psychically. And then there's always this, like, the guardians are like the air traffic control, if you will. And depending on where you are on the planet and what your consciousness level is and what you align to spiritually, there are guardians at every level until you get to the most high on the planet. And that's always flipping and changing. Like Storm, it's always quantumly recoding itself. So depending on the most high that you're aligned with, depends on your clearance and access levels. Just like if you were to try to land at JFK in New York City, and you call the air traffic control, and you're like, okay, I'm a jet coming in, I got a Gulfstream, like, can we land at this time and this place or whatever, and I'm coming in at this altitude. Don't judge me, it's not wine. This is the only glass I had, okay? It's a hydration mix. Some of you need to hydrate, okay? What else? I think that's what I'm going to give you for now. So that is flying with a license, flying without a license, understanding psychic gifts from being well educated in them, which is to manage and understand your mind and to be managed by the right spiritual crew. You need a ground crew and you need an air crew. And they're telling me, they're like, most of you are not behind enemy lines. Stormie has been behind enemy lines over and over and over again, because it's part of my tasks. But most of you are going to be just in student access, like easy breezy mode. We'll teach you how to fly your aircraft. they're also saying to me, they're like, actually, we're going to be giving you some like Ferraris energetically, and we're going to teach you how to drive the Ferrari too. That's your power. The cars, when my guides talk about transportation, when they talk about airplanes, they're talking about higher consciousness flight patterns. When they talk about cars, they're talking about on the ground emotional engine. So your passion and how that passion drives, because it's power you harness, you can create or destroy with it. Okay. Let's talk more about the Akashic Records. I think I'm probably going to channel some more on it. More is coming. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. Please like the video, leave me a comment below on what you want to learn about the Akashic Records within the Akashic Records, or let me know if you have ever entered your Akashic Records and what that was like for you. Go scoop the free training below. I promise you guys are going to want it. And that's what I got. Okay, until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.